2 minutes left in the first. Brady looking for rookie wideout N'Keal Harry. Picked off by Bradley Roby. A frustrating first half for TB12, and he let his offense know it, trying to get him going. Trying to get himself going as well. Come on, let's pick this up. You know what never helps? This never helps. Texans up 21-9 in the fourth. Trick play. DeAndre Hopkins to Deshaun Watson to score his fourth touchdown of the game. Did you say poor pass? Watson had an amazing day, posting a passer rating of 140.7. Minute left. Pats go for an onside kick. They are unable to recover it. And Bill O'Brien will get his first win over his former head coach. Patriots drop to the 2 seed with the loss. Here's Tom Brady after the game.
We're battling. We're trying as hard as we can, and hopefully we can make enough plays and be the best we could be. It doesn't. All remains to be seen. So you can make a bunch of predictions and so forth, but that's not what it's about. It's about going out there and doing it. And a lot of guys made some plays tonight, and try to build on it and see if we can do better next week.
All right, Nick, how much are you now doubting the Patriots' Super Bowl hopes?
Oh, about as much I've been doubting them the last few months, and I think people are starting to see it. There are 5 teams in the AFC we know are going to be in the playoffs. Patriots are one of them. Baltimore's another one. Baltimore whooped them. Houston's another one. Houston was up 3 scores in that game until it was garbage time. Buffalo's another one of them. Buffalo, they needed a blocked punt touchdown to beat, and the other one's Kansas City, who's going to beat them next week. So the Patriots had an all-time great pass defense, statistically speaking, through the first 8 weeks of the season. The last month of the year, it's been a very good pass defense, but not a great pass defense, despite what they did to the Dallas Cowboys and Amari Cooper in that driving rainstorm. The Houston Texans did what they wanted to do through the air against New England yesterday, and that historically good pass defense coach was offsetting what was a very poor passing offense for New England. And despite the final numbers that make it look like, oh, Brady had a bounce-back game, he did not. Through 3 quarters, Tom Brady was awful. You see him yelling at the receivers, getting frustrated with the receivers. I understand that for that interception, N'Keal Harry should have fought for the ball more. But Brady was, unless guys were running not only the wrong routes, but running the wrong routes at the wrong speed to the wrong part of the field, Brady was missing a lot of people by a large distance. Was that a bad route, or is that a throw out the back of the end zone? I don't know. And so there's the Patriots, their passing game issues were being kind of covered up a bit by a great defense. And if this defense turns into from an all-time great defense statistically to a very good one, then they cannot beat the best teams in football, and you saw that yesterday.
When you look at this team throughout the course of the season, the defensive stats were really deceptive, because the teams that were playing early on struggled is kind for what they were offensively. So that gave you a unfair depiction of how good they were. I've said this over and over. The offensive line problems that they have are real, and they're not going away. And getting Isaiah Wynn back has helped. But again, last night they lose their second center, okay, who's actually the guy who's been able to play every single game. And now we've got another substitute in there. A lot of young receivers. N'Keal Harry should have done more on that route. And I'm sure that his frustration is real in terms of guys getting to the right spot. Mohamed Sanu, he's new. N'Keal Harry, he's essentially new. Now, can those guys continue to improve? Yeah, and I thought that Houston did a good job of doubling Julian Edelman, although that wasn't perfect throughout the course of the game, and then paying a lot of attention to James White, taking away their 2 greatest strengths. But everybody wants to write New England's obituary. Everybody wants to say that New England's done. But look at last night's game. They had a chance to recover an onside kick and win the game with as many challenges as they had throughout the course of the game. That, to me, is amazing in itself. Put the fact that half the team was sick. The team went on a separate plane because people missed significant amount of practice time due to a massive bug that went through the facility. It's amazing what they were able to do, and everybody wants to write them off because of Tom not playing up to his ability. but the challenges that he's had to overcome, very few people could at this point in the season.
But Tom hasn't played well all year, and this offense has been missing something all year, and they've been getting away with smoke and mirrors. I think they've been getting away with the fact that people are intimidated, especially when they have to go up to Gillette Stadium. You know, I felt like the Cowboys missed a massive opportunity to go up there and win a game because they were out-coached, right? You think about all the big plays that they've had, the defense really winning the field position, setting them up in favorable matchups, scoring. You know, they got 3 block kicks. They've come up with the big plays when they needed to, just because they're so well coached. But when they go against a team that has superior talent, when they go against teams that has tremendous team speed, now it gives them problems because they're good at making you go to plan B. But when you have a plan B and a plan C like Houston has, because they can go to Stills, who has some huge catches in cover zero coverage. When you look at Will Fuller, when he's healthy, what he can do, and DeAndre Hopkins is never going to be shut out like Cooper was. I think it really presents some tremendous obstacles for that defense that doesn't have great team speed at the linebacker position. So what did they do? Deshaun Watson recognized that, hey, we better be ready for a cover zero blitz. And New England always comes out with something that you've never seen before, and it was zone. But then Hopkins and all the receivers did a great job in sitting in the zones. So then when they came with the cover zero, they were prepared for it. You can tell they had a plan for it. And it was over routes because they knew the middle of the field was open, and they knew they had tremendous speed that even though they have some slot guys that can run, you think about Gilmore, you think about, forget 31's number. You know, he's 4'3", but 4'3" against 4'3", running in the cover zero is going to lose. And Duke Johnson and how he exposed those linebackers in pass coverage, Van Noy one time, Hightower, the same thing that the Ravens did I think is going to be the game plan moving forward. But can every team do it? No. You have to have 3 or 4 fast guys, and Kansas City has 3 or 4 fast guys. Does this mean that New England can't win? Of course it doesn't mean that they can't win. It means that the degree of difficulty, and they shouldn't be the favorite going in, especially if they're not hosting the playoffs through Gillette Stadium.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. On one point, the ability to expose the linebackers and the speed of the linebackers, and you saw that New England's defense had to go off on the sidelines and talk about things that the Texans were doing. That's something that I say every week. You've got to take the initiative away from that defense and force them to react to you. And I thought the Texans did a nice job with that, and they should do a great job with that. You figure that Houston has Brad Seeley, the special teams coach who was in New England for a long time, Romeo Crennel, the defensive coordinator, they have their former offense coordinator. In terms of inside information, that's the team that's poised the most to exploit what New England does. I would have thought that based off of the week of preparation, the challenges New England had, the advantages that the Texans had, this would have been even worse than it was last night.
Well, Coach, but it was awful. Yeah. It was 28-9 with 5 minutes left. It's 28-9, and Tom Brady's got a 59 passer rating and 5.5 yards per pass. Like, I understand that in guard. Listen, once the Texans
it ends up 28-22 with a chance for them to recover an onside kick and go win the game.
Onside kicks, which prior to changing all the stats for the league because they recovered twice on Thanksgiving night. There have been 1 onside kick recovered in this league all year. Right. If you're in today's NFL, if you are in an onside kick game, you have lost. And so I understand that at the end of the game, it looked like it was competitive.
Right.
It was not. And Tom Brady last night had the single best game a 42-year-old has ever had at the quarterback position.
The 13-yard run.
And he was bad. And I say that to say this. We shouldn't expect better than this from a player at that age, even the greatest to ever do it. And so your point about the playoffs going through Gillette, no longer. Now it looks like they could go through Baltimore. We have seen the Patriots, again, 3 times this year, against the teams they're going to have to beat. Buffalo, dogfight. Baltimore whooped them. Houston whooped them for 54 minutes, and then the Patriots made it look good late. We'll see how they do against Kansas City. But if speed is an issue, I think Kansas City's a team that could present you with a lot of problems.
Yeah, you're blaming the dad. It's the kids that need to pick it up. It's all the young players in New England that need to do a better job. Look, Tom has limitations. He's had limitations for a long time. But if you get in the right spot and get open, he's going to get you the ball. They need to help him out.
Now, you know this organization better than most. Do you think that Bill, Tom go to
Robert Kraft
and say, hey, we need AB? Like, it may not be the best thing culture-wise, but we need a player of his caliber because they're taking Julian Edelman away with the brackets, and there's nothing we can do. And they did. I feel like they discovered something later in the game when they moved him out to the number one, knowing that they can get backside cover one on the backside, but they don't have anybody that can exploit that.
But do you think they'll do it about AB?
I wouldn't put anything out of the realm of possibility with New England, especially if they think that that it can help them win. It's just